Howdy folks, my name is Janaki.
And this is Madame Bathsheba.
And together we are Catomancy Tarot. So hello, welcome. Today I figured it was about time to do a little bit of a basket video. So the theme for this basket is springtime decks. So I'm just going through my collection and I've been pulling out decks that have been feeling springtimey. And I'm going to show you, I use decks like exclusively almost in pairings. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite deck pairs for spring. And we'll go through a little bit of a ramble, catch you up on where I'm at these days, and at the end, go ahead and stick around for a little bit of a collective reading. So if that all sounds good to you, then here we go. Okie dokie. How are you guys doing? I'm feeling high stress levels today. So I thought it would be fun to just like hang out, try and chill out, look at some fun deck pairings, lean into the springtime. It's so nice out today. I've been like taking a break from I'm doing like a deep purge in my whole house kind of thing. I'm getting ready to do a big move from Michigan to Denver. It's very exciting, but also just like super overwhelming and so that's where I'm at the moment. So let's take a look at some decks. Maybe that'll help us just chill out a little bit. So, springtime flowers. So the first deck I knew I wanted to work with the springtime was this one. This is Tarot of the Drowning World, and this is a deck that like I got it when it first came out, but I've never been like I've never gotten like a ton of use out of it, but right now I've been really leaning into it, and actually I've been really enjoying this one. So it's a photographic deck. Everything was photographed in their garden, and everything was floated on top of some water, which I think is really cool. And I was like, all right, what am I gonna pair with this? Because we're doing all deck pairings today. And you guys might disagree, but I actually really like the Outgrow Yourself with this one. My box, it got real smushed somehow. There's cat hair everywhere. Alas. But I think that these guys look really good together. Is that just me? I think the water in this one is like dark, and they're both very floral, and they just read so well together. So let's take a look here. And I also think it's fun. Technically, this is like a Thoth-based tarot deck, but you can use it as an oracle. So now I've got two different systems here. I've got Thoth and Marseille, which I've never really played around with before, but they're both like different enough. Like it's not like a super traditional Marseille, and it's not a traditional Thoth. So I think they work together, and it's very playful, but it's also like it has some beauty, but it also has some good content, you know? And the one thing I will say about the guidebook for the Drowning World is that it's the perfect amount of guidebook for me right now. I'm in a place where I do want little snippets. I find little snippets help me get out of. Sometimes you can get into this habit where you read the card the same way every time. Or, it's like, oh, Two of Cups, I know what that means. And then instead of just like falling into your like pattern of interpretation, you flip open the sky and you just get a little bit of, let's see here. It's just like, it's not a lot of, not a lot. Two cups clink in a toast to affinity and affection. Fluids mingle and flow. like this is the perfect amount of information in a guidebook for me right now. I just want those like tasty little snippets. Accept a cuff and quaff a ritual toast. Celebrate harmonious union and partnership. Like it's just like short and sweet, very very poetic. I'm feeling it. So and the flowers are so pretty. I think for a while I just didn't really know what to pair with this deck. I'm curious, what do you guys pair with this one? I do have some like other kind of floral. I have one other like floral photographic deck, but it's not meant to be an oracle. um, and I'm really enjoying using these guys together. And yeah, love the short. I love it's just enough. Like it's just enough for me to kind of. I never actually noticed that outgrow yourself is on the Emperor card. I guess that means this whole deck has a little bit of an Aries vibe, Emperor vibe. So those are my first guys. I do think that this deck is like so slippy. It's got that super slippy linen, and I'm not a fan of linen when it comes to like photographic or collage decks. I just think the texture takes away from the image. But maybe that's just me. All right, moving on to this deck. This is a very well-known, well-loved deck. I have the Jonas Yaus. I think I said Laos. I really didn't mean it. I apologize. This is the last edition, which is a lie. I think this is the third or fourth. Correct me if I'm wrong. I got this from a friend kind of thing. And this is a deck that it's another one like the Drowning World Tarot. I think it's really beautiful, very floral, very like apropos of spring, but I never really figured out what to use it with. I know Meg at Rose Honey Ritual just started a like pairing older decks tag where she's going about asking people to film pairing videos with older decks, and like I know people love this deck and I want to know what people pair with it. And I've figured out a pairing that I really like, and I also know that this because the coloration changes so drastically with this deck, I think that like what I enjoy with this edition will be very different from the more like the more greener one that's like traditional tarot sized, or like the more like maroon, magenta, or even like red tones. And so I have been pairing it with this deck. That's a little pouch I've made. I also, since I'll be moving, I don't know when I'll be able to do another bag update for you guys, another drop. I don't think I have that many more, but it'll probably like have to be it'll probably be after I move. So the earliest will probably be July, unfortunately. So sorry for the long hiatus. I've just got, stuff afoot, big stuff afoot in my life. So this is the Mercury, Salt, and Sulfur Oracle, and I really like this pairing. They both have like very limited color palettes, which is like why I think it's like working quite well. And they both feel well, this one's always a bit a bit much. But they both have this very kind of like modern fantasy vibe. I've been on the search for a good a good fairy deck, and I can't find one. I can't find a fairy deck that I really like. Also, because moving across this country is like it's really expensive, you guys, and my living expenses are about to go up. And so I'm probably on like either a no buy for the rest of the year or a low buy for the rest of the year. Um, I got a bunch of decks at the start of the year, and I think that might just uh, be uh, that might just be it for me for this year, just because of the way my finances are shaking out. So I was like, I'm trying to be good, and I looked at all of these different kinds of fairy decks. Just none of them are quite the style. So this is kind of I was looking at like Tarot of the Hidden Realms, uh, like I don't know. I like it, but I don't know. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it right now. Especially for like fairy decks that I don't 100% love, but I feel like these decks together kind of get me close to something like that. I feel like I always feel like this deck in particular is like very much a it gives me like romantasy vibes in sort of a fun way. And this one is very it's very quirky. Love the ladies in armor. And yeah. So this is that pairing. I really dig this pairing. I thought about pairing this with the Mother Witch, which I think but the color palette is like slightly different. So it didn't quite go, but then I found this pairing, and this is what I've been using for bedtime readings the past like week or so. I'm a tarot before bed. That's my current routine. Is I'll draw 3 tarot cards and 3 oracle cards, and jot it down in my journal before bedtime. So that is Mercury, Salt, and Sulfur. This one, unfortunately, is out of print. I was really lucky in finding this copy. It was one that I had my eye out for. And it's another one that, like, I didn't use it a ton when I first picked it up, but I'm getting some good use out of it now. All right. So the next pairing, I have 2 pairings with this tarot deck, and this is another out of print deck. Alas, alas, but it is my favorite, and I just was feeling it for the springtime. And sometimes when you're going through like big life stuff, you need the big guns, and Spolia for me is definitely is definitely the big guns. Like it's always reads well. I always feel like I'm in good hands. And yeah, sorry, just adjusting. And this is this oracle I did pick up about a month ago, and it was my last kind of, I think this is the last new acquisition, potentially for quite some time for me. This is Broccoli Mag's Flower Oracle. I have their other Oracle decks. I think they're all so beautiful. They don't have my favorite keywords, but the artwork is just so good that I'm willing to kind of work with it. And the thing that I love about these decks in particular is that they pair so well with my Spolia. And it makes it feel like I can use the Spolia and then just have a slightly different seasonal oracle to go with it. So I was using the mushroom and the crystal oracle a lot over fall and winter, but then I was like really craving this one, and it was on my springtime wish list for quite some time, so I got it. And look at the little snail with the little buds, the daffodil, the chariot, and the 7 of coins. I think they're so pretty together. They're so pretty. I like these little honey possums. I think they're very sweet. I do like, this one has some very, yeah, some like a springtime color scheme, but it's not too like bright. It's not like the Crystal Oracle is very jewel toned. The Mushroom Oracle is also very like autumnal in its color scheme, and this has again its own kind of like color scheme here. But I think this is just like such a perfect pairing. I think after I finish filming this video, I'm gonna go for a walk around the block. I've been on the phone with these different movers trying to just work things out, and it's got me so stressed. I need to go touch some grass. Maybe with my toes. Maybe see if I can find some good flowers in the neighborhood. I think that'll really help. So that's this combo. I love it. It feels like a breath of fresh air for me right now. Yeah, loving it. And then the other oracle deck that I've been using with the Spolia is this one. This is the Wild Alchemy Lab. This is an astro-botanical remedy deck, and it's so pretty. The cards are huge, and on the backs they have, so we've got our poppies here. You guys know I love poppies. And then it has using them in like medicinal remedies, so to disperse anxiety. And then it has a little bit of a recipe. So it's not a traditional oracle deck, but oftentimes the taglines will give you like a key phrase to work with. I wish they had just like a sentence or two of how to use it in like readings. And I've actually thought about like getting out a little pencil and just like writing my own keywords on the front of the card. I think that's something that, with enough time and mental space, that is something that I would really like to do, because I know there's like a million plant decks out there, but for whatever reason I really like the illustrations and everything on this one. I think that, like, again, you can find a million different decks with botanical illustrations, but this one, it just feels so beautiful to me. I love it a lot. And it doesn't also give you any information about the chosen like zodiacal and astro correspondences on them, so I don't really know what to do with. But sometimes like this fire and Mars makes sense to me intuitively for stinging nettle, like that just sort of makes sense. But some of them I'm a little bit more like, I wish I could read a little bit about that. So, but it gives like a little bit to kind of work with. This isn't, I just think this pairing is also just like so pretty right now. Very, very pretty indeed. So that is the Spolia and the Wild Alchemy Lab. So those are the two decks I've been, two oracle decks I've been pairing with the Spolia a lot. Spolia with some flower energy. So next up, I've got the Adapt Tarot and the I Spy Oracle. So if you saw I recently did a walkthrough of the I Spy Oracle. I've been a big fan of Delilah's Adapt Tarot, and then this was a pre-order that I did in like January. for this new oracle. I think it's only like 45 cards, but they go really well together, and I did a big pairing video with this, so if you like this, and you haven't seen that yet, I would say take a look, if you want to see me having a good time with a bunch more pairings. And here we are. Ooh, Flower Power. I like this card a lot. And then I think it just goes really well with the adapt. They're not too samey. I just think they look so good together. So this is, and it's another one that just kind of brings a lot of, I don't know, it brings some like a breeze, a little bit of a spring breeze. You can smell the lilacs a little bit with this combo. I don't know if you know what I mean or not, but I think they're really pretty together. They both have this kind of like 90s kitsch, like the I Spy books. The guidebook for this gives you like a list of things to try and like find in the card, which I think is fun. And the adapt has always given me like eyewitness kind of vibes. So to me, they also have this kind of like nod to nostalgia, and I just love all, like, I think this is my favorite card in the deck. I think it's just so pretty. Yeah, very fun indeed. So that is this pairing, the Adapt Tarot and the I Spy Oracle. I've just got, I think, 2 more pairings to show you guys before we do a little bit of a collective reading. I wish I could ask you guys live which decks you want me to use for this collective reading, but I'm right now, well, let's see how we're feeling. Next up is another deck that is new to my collection, and it's been on my radar for a little bit, and it was just made available. This is the Visions of Arcadia by Rohan Dahiya, an indie deck creator from New Delhi, India. I like to keep tabs on what's going on with deck creators in India if I can, and this is a really cool deck. If you want to see more, I do have a full flip through and pairings with this deck as well. This deck gives me kind of, it's a little bit sci-fi, it's a little bit like utopian, it's a little bit queer, it's, there's a lot of color and textures going on, and I've been pairing it with the Alcaringa onromancy deck. I think this deck has a new name, but it's by the same creator as Gothmancy, and I feel like Gothmancy and Visions of Arcadia kind of have a similar color palette layout thing going on together. I love doing tarot readings for dream interpretations, and that's kind of why I got this deck. But it's another one of those decks that I haven't gotten a lot of use out of, but this pairing has made me pick it up a whole bunch recently. And let me tell you, these two read like super well together, and I find they work really well. Like the messages are really clear. And I like the people and places and all of the kind of colors and textures we've got going on between the two of these. I've been just having some crazy dreams recently. I don't know about you guys, but my dreams have been wild of late, I will say. You know, could all use a bit of hope these days. But yeah, really, really enjoying these two. If you're curious about this deck, you can get this deck by reaching out to the creator on Instagram. If you look at, if you watch my video on it, I'll let you know a little bit more, and you can see a bunch of other pairings, which are quite fun. But that kind of leads us into this last pairing I've got for you guys, and that is the Mother Witch, which, you know, this has become kind of like a staple in my rotation since I got it. And I've been pairing it with this deck here, which I've got in a lovely pouch. And that is the JK weight. I've got the reprint that was done. And I know that these are, the art styles are quite different, but I just really like this as a pairing. And they just read really well for me together. Sometimes it's fun to just like read with an RWS. Like there's something about reading with an RWS that is just like, here we go. Like it's just immediate and you know what's going on, and like it's so iconic. And I just, for whatever reason, I really like this combo. I think they read really well. This one's like very sweet. It's got some like, I don't know, some lots of fun like feminine energy stuff going on with it. Lots of big energy, funky archetypes. Here we've got Page of Cups, Star Seance, and the Seven of Cups. Talk about a star seance, man. Yeah, I really like them. I really like them together. And all of these, like, these little pinks. Look at those pink boots. Like, this feels very, very springtime to me. Very springtime indeed. So those are all my deck pairings. That's what I've been playing around with. That's what I've been reaching for. That's what I've been reading with so far this season. So let me go ahead and get things sorted a little bit, and I'll be right back for a little bit of a collective reading. Okay, I decided on these two. That's what I'm feeling. We're doing Spolia and the Flower Oracle. So I figure I'm feeling like we need more guidance rather than less guidance right now. That's where I'm at. I don't know how you guys are feeling. But I figure we'll do my my spread that's kind of like my go-to spread for kind of bigger readings, and that's the Way Through spread. I've talked about it before. I think I've done tutorials on it somewhere on my channel. It's in it's in a collection of spreads book also that's available out there in the world. But we're just going to take a look at where we're at right now, where we're headed, and some advice for how to get to where we're going. So if that sounds nice, then maybe take a minute. If you'd like, you can take a few deep breaths. And just think about, I don't know, if you have a question, if you have a concern. So from the top of the deck, that's where we're at. From the bottom of the deck, we pull where we're headed, and then we deal in 3 cards. This bottom row is kind of like more grounded advice, and then the 3 cards on top are, these are like practical steps, and this is kind of higher guidance. And then we go ahead and shuffle our oracle deck here. All right. So from the top where we're at, from the bottom where we're headed, and then I do 1 up top and 1 for down below here. All right, so let's take a look at where we're at right now. Ooh, we've got the Page of Coins and the Herbalist, Healing, Wisdom, Listening. These are very pretty together. Page of Coins. Page of Coins in this deck, we've got a little bit of a centaur here, but it's kind of about like learning new skills oftentimes. Or maybe we're picking up some listening techniques, picking up some healing. We're also in this cave mouth right here. So maybe we're doing a little bit of a retreat, learning some herb craft, which is a nice invitation with the spring theme here. And let's take a look at where we are headed. Ooh, we've got another page, and this time we have the Page of Cups and cherry blossom, evanescence, joy, beauty. That's actually really sweet. So we go from this kind of more like practical grounded to this kind of more like emotional effervescent. Actually, I'm gonna do a thing that I rarely do, but I'm gonna actually read from the guidebook of the Spolia, because I know this guidebook so well. I know what it talks about, and like I love the entry for the Page of Cups, and I think about it all the time. The Page of Cups is oftentimes my significator, but not always. The Page of Cups. When you start to fall in love, it can feel as terrible as it does good. You think you should be happy, but then you're crying in the shower half of the time, overwhelmed by your emotions in a way you can't possibly understand. This card isn't only a card of falling in love, it can also be getting to a very genuine emotional space. But in order to listen to our deepest intuitive selves, we have to strip off so much self-protection until we are just quivering vulnerability. Welcome to the Page of Cups, where the love or the feeling is bigger than your ability to express it or do anything with it. Another underground cave here, which is quite lovely. But I just love that, and I think about that all the time with the Page of Cups. This line here, that the feeling that you're having is bigger than your ability to express it. So Page of Cups having some big feelings, and evanescence, joy, beauty with cherry blossoms, another really springtime card. So allowing yourself to have things that are just like really bubbling over, and like not trying to kind of like cordon off or restrict or even like categorize what you're feeling, but just allowing yourself to have those big having those big feelings. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here in terms of practical steps. We've got death, we've got Page of Swords, and then we've got the Four of Wands. We've got peony, prosperity, introspection, virtue. So first off with the death card, we've got some big, I don't know, maybe this is me. Whenever I do a collective readings, I feel like it's secretly just a reading that's for me that I'm also sharing with everyone else. I don't know. It's or there's aspects of my own life that are hard not to read into a reading when we're doing collective readings. But death can be I mean springtime is the here at the feet of the death card we've got the regeneration after the decay. So we're in a big, maybe this is a time of shedding. Maybe this is, I mean, spring cleaning. You can, that's a death card activity right there, is just like shedding, getting rid of things, getting, sloughing off this whole layer, right? And then I think it's interesting, we've got our Page of Swords here, which is we've got almost all our pages. It'll be interesting to say if we can get a full house here. But the Page of Swords, we can think about this as like having ideas that are big, having some big ideas, and struggling to express those ideas. So maybe a practice of like writing things down or trying to kind of we've got our little dust devil here, this little whirlwind of thoughts, right? And then we've also got our little celebration here, um, which a little gallivanting out in the fields perhaps would be called for, or just kind of like celebrating small milestones as they happen. Like you did the thing you did today, huzzah! Have a toast, you know. And then peony, we've got prosperity, introspection, and virtue, with this lovely Luna moth here. Um, so we've got, maybe the Page of Swords here is asking us to kind of do a little bit of this introspection. Um, and, with the Death card, we're kind of uh, going through and doing a little bit of a, um, you know, if we're interpreting that as this kind of like spring cleaning moment, then it's a moment to check in about like our belongings and prosperity and things like that. So, all right, let's take a look at the cards and see what we've got up top here. So, we've got the High Priestess, we've got Temperance, and we've got Justice. So, we've got some big energies here. Interesting. So, we've only got one minor in the spread. So, whenever there's a lot of big major arcanas in a spread, that just tells me that like we've got some major stuff going on, right? Um, so the missing page is the Page of Wands, interestingly enough. Um, but here we've got the High Priestess. So thinking about knowledge and our intuition, and I love this card so much. I think it's so cool. I know Rosebay making a Greek snake deck, um, serpent deck. That's what this reminds me of right now. Um, so we've got some big High Priestess energy. We've got Temperance and we've got Justice. And Temperance and Justice together are it's this kind of like fine balancing act. So it feels like we're juggling a lot of things right now. Let's see what our oracle card is. Ooh, Datura, hallucinations, seduction, visions. Um, so maybe we're invited right now to have these big visions, have these lofty goals, or lean into what it is you want to see in the vision. And then we've also got maybe we don't want to go too hard on the hallucinations, making sure that, with the page, they're kind of like grounded and practical. Um, but we're at the same time, we're allowed to have big feelings about them. So here's our Temperance, and then lastly we have Justice, which is this kind of this balancing act that we've got going on here. So I know that's a kind of a big reading, but I was feeling it was time. So that's all I've got for you for the moment. In terms of when you'll see me next, I think I'm going to do a video of me like packing up my decks and maybe going through a little bit of a purge. There's a few things that I might try and sell off before my move. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Otherwise, besides that video, I think the next time you'll be seeing me, I'll be in a whole new place. Very exciting. So I will see you guys all next time. Bye for now.